You're listening to the Drive Home Review podcast.
Hello, fellow travelers. My name is Luca Fiore.
I'm Eva Bee.
We're driving home after watching a million bajillion movie stars that I know and love in another Wes Anderson movie called
The French Dispatch.
And it's got a longer title that I can't remember at the top of my head right now.
Of the Kansas City Bucks. French Dispatch featuring the Kansas City Bucks.
Hey, Eva.
Yeah.
What's the French Dispatch about?
Well, it's a series of short films, sort of, about a Kansas City-based publication that writes about a fictional town in France called Ennui de something, I forget the name. But for short, it's called Ennui, which is the name of our band.
Yeah, the name of a band.
Our band.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said a band. I'm like, our band.
I might have said a band, but meant to say our band.
Yeah. We were discussing how we didn't know that this was going to be a bunch of short films.
Yeah, I didn't know it was an anthology film at all.
Is that what they call them?
An anthology film?
Yes.
Yeah. But, well, to be honest with you, it's a little bit strange because normally an anthology film, it features multiple directors making short films that kind of make up one feature-length film. However, This is Wes Anderson just telling a bunch of short stories, kind of like, a news publication would be told, and just telling a bunch of short stories within a 2-ish hour period.
I didn't really tie that together.
You know what I'm saying? What's up?
Well, never mind.
Okay.
Never mind. If it were to be directed by different people, well, then it would be a Wes Anderson movie, but...
Yeah, I don't know what to call this, except for an anthology. There may be a better definition.
I said series of short films.
Series of shorts.
Within its own world.
Yeah. Well, it all happens around the last publication of the French Dispatch, this fictional publication that exists in this town. It stars everyone.
Not everyone.
Everybody's in it.
I mean, starring...
Your mom is in it. My mom
Starring
is
a big word. I mean, I feel like some are cameos. For instance, Edward Norton. I feel like it's more of a cameo.
Yeah, some have smaller parts than others, but a lot of Wes Anderson movies, there are no small parts. Everybody has their time to shine.
I guess so.
Bill Murray is in it.
Benicio del Toro.
Benicio del Toro. Frances McDormand.
Narrated by Angelica Houston.
Is it?
I saw that in the credits.
Okay.
I studied the credits like a good movie reviewer.
Me, a.k.a. Adrien Brody.
Yes, you are in the movie,
I was
too.
also in the movie.
Very handsome, as always.
Timothée Chalamet.
Chalamet.
Friggin'...
Did you say Nancy McDormand? Frances.
Nancy McDormand. Yeah, so many people.
Yes, as per usual.
Well, I'll ask you this. How did you feel watching an anthology of short films by Wes Anderson?
I thought it worked well. He executed it really well. I was actually thinking at the end, the last one, there's like 4, I would say, plus like an epilogue. Mm-hmm. But I guess there's 3 main ones, like a prologue and an epilogue.
Yes.
By the end of it, I was like, this was really well put together. It was very seamless. It's not like the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, where it's like, and it ends, and then a new thing starts. This really felt kind of seamless. There were a few ways he did that, but, I mean, we could do the whole review about how he achieved that.
I wanted to say that, is this maybe Wes Anderson really, really flexing all of his muscles and maybe thinking that, well, maybe this is the best way that he can present a lot of ideas at once. Like,
maybe.
You've got a lot of disjointed sort of ideas for shorts or for film ideas, and maybe you want to put them in all at once, and maybe this is like the only and / best way. And I gotta say, perhaps one of the best uses of narration I can think of in a long time, because a lot of Wes Anderson's movies, yes, they have a lot of narration to them, but this one, you really, really require it because it is from the perspective of the writer of each individual article. So each individual writer to each of these short stories.
They don't narrate it, just to clarify. There is one.
Aren't they the
Well,
narrator?
they narrate their story,
Exactly,
but then
that's
you're...
correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't clear if you meant
That is
the
what I meant,
Angelica
yeah.
Houston. She's not actually in it, but she does narrate a portion of it. I wasn't sure if you meant her role
No,
or...
each individual short was narrated by each.
Yeah, so if we didn't clarify, this publication has articles written and they're portrayed in these sort of short films, and those short films are narrated by the author, the fictional author of those stories.
Did you have a favorite story?
Oh, I was thinking about that. I don't have an immediate answer. Do you have a favorite?
In fact, I do. And it is the story starring Benicio del Toro and Adrien Brody and this French actress whose name I can't remember, but she's a Hundo P babe. And what's it? It was a really, really cool story. And I loved... sometimes I'm really dumb when it comes to explaining art, and for me to, let's say, even explain what I like or dislike about art. And this short film had a really, really, really apt explanation for what is modern art. And the short film features Benicio del Toro, who is in a prison, and turns out he's a wonderful and gifted artist that's, showing his art via Adrien Brody as this art collector,
distributor, manager, agent guy.
Anyway, he's discovered his work and he's showing it all over the place, and Benicio del Toro's character is just getting more and more popular. Anyway, as he's showing as Adrien Brody is showing his first piece of art to his fellow colleagues, they ask the questions, why? Why would we start dealing in modern art? And then he shows him like a picture of a sparrow that Benicio del Toro drew, and he's like, look, he's a wonderful artist. He could draw this sparrow perfectly, but instead he chooses to draw this, and he thinks this, which is this mash of colors and all sorts of things on a canvas. He thinks that this is better. And I really, 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 really like that explanation of modern arts, because sometimes I have a difficulty explaining it, and when someone like Wes Anderson writes a little bit of script and he says something to that degree, I just love it so much. Yeah,
speaking of the script, I would say I'm very dumb at paying attention to movies. In terms of retaining things like story, like any Wes Anderson movie, it takes me multiple amount of watches to really take in
this
everything.
Was a tough one. This was a tough one.
When it started, I was like, oh.
This was maybe the toughest one to understand.
Really? Okay, so it wasn't just me.
Because I'm thinking about, like, the last movie I saw of his, we watched it kind of recently. Which one was it with the Boy Scouts?
Moonrise
Kingdom, way easier to understand than this film.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a lot of dialogue, it's very verbose. On top of it, it's like, I would say maybe 25% in French, which we understand, but it's French, and it's spoken quickly. There are subtitles though, but like, they're speaking so quickly that like, even with the combination of understanding French to a degree plus reading it, plus it's Wes Anderson's world, so there's already a fuck ton going on screen. It's like an onslaught for your brain. So I think on purpose, again, like every Wes Anderson movie, it requires multiple watches to get every little last bit of it. But
I will ask you again, after having a moment perhaps to think about it, did you have a favorite short film?
I mean, I did really, I don't know. It's between the Benicio del Toro one and the chef one.
Tell me about the chef one.
So the chef one is not about a chef, but it is. It's about kidnapping of a commissioner's son.
A police commissioner's son.
A police commissioner's son. While the author from this magazine was going to just review the police department's in-house chef, which, like, as a personal chef, I appreciate this storyline a lot. But that's not why I really liked it. I liked it because it was, like, very unpredictable. I found that the author, I had the most heartfelt connection to the author. I feel like he was the best actor.
He was very, very good.
Like, anytime
his name escapes me off the top of my head.
Anytime he was vulnerable or anything, I was like, whoa. So I think if anyone deserves an Oscar nod, I do think it's him. I feel like Wes Anderson's movies don't get enough love from the Oscars. I mean, I know it does. I think Royal Tenenbaums got a few Oscars, or at least like multiple nominations. However, yeah, I don't know who else stood out to you acting-wise.
Acting-wise, Tilda Swinton.
Oh my God, Tilda Swinton was so
Swinton
good.
has this, like...
She was the author of the Benicio del Toro story.
It's something about the way that she can shift her accent from one thing to another. If you've ever seen the movie Snowpiercer, she has this, like, giant set of teeth on her. Perhaps it's prosthetic, and she speaks with this, like, lisp accent. And just like something like this, she's able to, like, really, really get into and transform herself so well. And
she really can.
I love watching this woman on camera every single time I see her. So yeah,
I know. Speaking of, well, we just watched House of Gucci, and we kind of commented on their accents. But I would say, the accents in this movie were better.
Oh yeah, I would say the accents.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody is trying to do a French accent that shouldn't be.
Exactly, and the people who are Anglophones in the movie spoke English, and then the Francophones spoke French, and I liked that. I don't know why movies set in different countries don't just do something like this. Mm-hmm. Like, actually have native language speakers speaking the language. You could have, like, an Anglophone director with translators on set and everything. I know it's not the same, but I don't know.
Eva.
Yes.
I'm going to rapid fire give you some stars of the movie, and I would like you to, because I really did like the beginning of the film featuring the little bartender with
oh my God,
me
too.
Rapid fire, I'm going to give you
Yes.
some stars of this movie, and you're going to give me, what do you think their drink of choice is? Starting with Bill Murray.
Well, he had the shot with the oyster, the raw egg, Worcester sauce, and probably a vodka.
What is that drink?
It's like a hangover cure.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've got that drink. Okay, Benicio del Toro.
Mint mouthwash.
I think mezcal, but maybe it was in fact mint mouthwash. That's actually a more apt.
That's what it said on the label.
Oh no, you're right. Actually, you're right.
Yeah,
okay.
he was slowly trying to poison himself.
The chef.
What do I think his drink of choice would be?
Is signature cocktail, if you will.
Oh yeah, he made a signature cocktail. I think it was probably absinthe with like some illegal like extra herbs that he like distilled.
Probably like grown somewhere on the property of the prison. Okay. Let's keep this going. Frances McDormand.
Coffee probably.
And Timothée Chalamet.
Coffee.
Also coffee.
Actually, Nancy. Why do I call her Nancy McDermott? Frances McDermott. Her drink of choice is cigarettes.
Whoa.
A lot of smoking in this movie, which is very apt for France, I think, even to this day.
Okay, last drink. Someone good. How about Willem Dafoe stuck in his little prison cell. What's his drink of choice?
Brandy.
Oh, okay.
Straight up.
As we're getting close by, I'm going to be able to park and check some of my notes that I had listed.
I can look at them.
Okay.
Let's check it out.
It's pretty chicken scratch there.
I am curious if you have any questions about the French Dispatch.
Or are there people chatting?
Just Danny. What's up?
Hi, Danny.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us for sure. Yes.
Short
we
stories.
Were just watching the French Dispatch. Yes.
Go crazy.
Yep. Wes go crazy.
Wes go crazy.
Yeah.
We've covered that.
Yeah. We covered the fact that yes, this is a series of short films, and it lets Wes Anderson really just go crazy with his ideas. He can just throw a lot at the wall.
Make the visuals neat.
Oh, yes.
Marathon.
Narrators. That's right.
Marathon. It's hard to write in the dark. I understand.
What I was making a note of that I thought was so neat was, sometimes it's a lot of people consider it bad technique to write and have narrators essentially explain your story. I love it. I've always loved narrators, really and truly, even though people consider it lazy, but I've always loved it.
I don't think one way or the other.
And I was just like reminiscing to myself, thinking like, narrators can be so useful as long as you give people something to watch, something to like really like sink their teeth into. And the beginning of the film features a narrator, Angelica Houston, and just a lot of drinks getting put together.
Yeah, I couldn't pay attention to the narration.
I wasn't even listening.
Because I had to pay
flawed.
Attention to the drinks.
Perhaps that was flawed. That he almost made the visuals too good. For
it's
that
like
reason,
you gotta watch it again. That's what that meant. Moses, young to old. That was a cool part.
Oh yeah, I've never seen anything like that before. Where a scene where Benicio del Toro, he's an old man in prison. We see how he got to prison, and the transition from young to old was a young prison character, whatever his character, Moses, yeah, that's what his character name was. A young Moses is sitting down in his prison cell. He gets up. He gets replaced by Benicio del Toro, a much older man, and that's the transition of, 20 plus years of being in prison.
Yeah, that was pretty powerful.
Such a neat transition.
Yeah, there were some really cool choices. I had somebody tell me that they said that this was the most Wes Anderson movie that he could ever make.
All the Wes Anderson movies?
I don't know. I was thinking by that description it would be like very cliche, but I felt like he had so many just like really cool choices, like of course all the tableaus. Can we just take a moment?
He's really good at tableau. Explain
He's really good at
you want to do a tableau?
Can we?
Yeah, right now. Okay, yeah.
And scene.
Yeah, right.
But his tableaus had like this was the most ambitious, I think. They had like 30 people, up to 30 people, just like freeze frame in a scene, and that was
really beautifully done. And they would do tableau after tableau after tableau.
And pan over to the next tableau.
He's so good at that stuff. He's so good at practical stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta ask, what did you think about the animation in this movie? There are surprise animation scenes in this movie.
I thought unnecessary.
I thought so too. I really wanted to there's a car chase scene and it's all animated.
He didn't want to do it. That's how I felt. I'm like, you want to include the fact that there's a car chase, but you don't actually want to do it?
Yeah.
But
it
I don't know.
It almost felt, I don't know how to describe it.
Cop-out?
It just, to be perfectly honest with you, I wanted to actually see a charming Wes Anderson version of this car chase sequence.
What if, practically speaking, he actually ran out of money and time?
It could have been easily.
What would you have done then?
Oh, also, he fucking filmed this during COVID, too. Maybe that was a factor, too?
I don't know. He had 30 people crammed in a room for a tableau. I don't think a car chase would really matter. But maybe, maybe the fact... I don't know. Maybe he just felt like it.
Maybe he just felt like it. He's been obviously really into animation recently.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if I see like Netflix presents a Wes Anderson like animated series.
He would never go for Netflix.
Why not? All of his movies are on Netflix.
No, aren't they on Criterion Collection only? I don't think they're on Netflix at all.
I'm gonna look this up when I get home. Maybe y'all can look it up as well when you get.
I just want to say
matter.
one more thing.
Absolutely.
I think this is also a thought piece on the word ennui because, I mean, I chose it for our band name because it had like so many, like, has so much emotion to it. It basically means just like, blah, listless, being like, not really having direction. And like, I feel like all these stories were really like embodied that word. And I found that really interesting.
I don't know about that. For example,
it's like what ennui can lead to, you know?
The police officer and his son, their embrace at the end was very emotional. They clearly cared about each other very deeply.
Yeah, but like the fact that somebody abducted his son, you know, he's just like, that guy doesn't care about life. He's just like...
Yes, so, perhaps like there was... Ennui might have been a motivating factor for a lot of these people.
Yeah,
Somehow
exactly.
it was. That's interesting.
The world, yeah, I feel like the town really was like an embodiment of that word. Like, because at the beginning, Owen Wilson authors his character, who is an author for this magazine. He kind of goes through like this scene. This is ennui. This is the town of ennui.
Let's discuss the town itself so we can build our set piece, as it were. Yeah,
so it's like run down, but like has its charm, you know.
But also has prostitutes and people that'll pick your pocket. Yeah. But somehow it's still charming. I loved Bill Murray asking Owen Wilson, it's like, this doesn't sound like a nice place to live. It's like, it's supposed to be charming. It's like, it features prostitutes and pickpockets and rats and stray cats. You don't want to include a flower shop? Owen Wilson says, I hate flower shops. Like, okay.
I feel like Wes Anderson put, like, Bill Murray's character for Wes Anderson is all the critique that he's received. Wes Anderson has received that kind of critique. Like, do you really need all of this exposition? You can cut this last paragraph. Or, like, what about this, like, really important line? This is the best part. Like, I feel like that must have been, like, a dialogue between him and, like, Jason Schwartzman.
Or
and the
other
authors of the movie,
fun,
writers
actually.
of the movie. Yeah.
I got nothing else to add.
I would say that I am, like, should we compare this to the other Wes Anderson movies?
We have to, of course. That's an apt comparison. I would not rank this as my favorite of his films, period. But that being said, I believe this movie is still worth your time. I think that, like all Wes Anderson films, it's a feast for the eyes, and it's going to be like nothing that you've ever really seen before. That one just weird trick of transitioning from a young Benicio del Toro to an old Benicio del Toro is just something I've never seen before. And that alone, I don't know, kind of maybe worth your time.
Yeah, the little surprises. I mean, I feel like you don't have to have seen other Wes Anderson movies, but if you like his movies, I think you'll like this one.
Of course. But it's just that if you're a fan of, like, something, and I really do mean this, just watching something new that you're really not going to get the same experience watching anything.
Yeah,
like a Marvel film or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're not going to get this kind of film. This is the kind of filmmaker that you should really take advantage of watching these movies as they come out, because it's something special.
Yeah, unless you really want something that's like explosions and boobs and guns.
You'll get some of that, though.
Yeah, actually.
So
there are all three of those things in this movie.
So
you can please that blockbuster film lover in your life by taking them to see
The French Dispatch. Directed by Wes Anderson. So that's worth your time.
The more I talk about it, the more I realize, yeah, absolutely. I think this movie is worth your time. Yes.
Okay, sweet. Well, that's it for us then, folks. It's a thinker. That's it for us, folks. Have a good night. Thank you to Danny for tuning in. Appreciate it. And,
follow on Twitch for the live stream,
yes.
if you will.
And
Twitch.tv/drivehomereviews.
Drive Home Reviews.
Yes.
Until next time, peace out.
Bye.